Hello everybody and welcome to Hypotheticals. I'm your host Jez FM, of course famously the voice of the Coburg Giants, and a great guy. And I'm joined today by my co-host and hot take machine, Tom Nixon. What's up, my friend?
Not a lot, mate. Just been enjoying the NBA and the NBL as well. For those who are locked into not only Victorian basketball, but also the Australian National League. As we were discussing before, they're in Game 5, famously the Game 7 of the finals here. And we're in for a doozy on Sunday afternoon, AEST. The final game, mate, is shaping up to be a huge one. Can you remind our viewers who's playing and what are the odds for this thriller blockbuster final game?
Well, okay, so we're not going to be just talking about NBL if you're a new listener. We're going to go to the NBA soon. We're going to be talking Lakers, Celtics, Knicks. Everything's going to be on the table. But quickly, for people that have been wondering, obviously hearing an Australian accent, that can only mean one thing, and that's Matthew Dellevedova is in the NBL Finals.
You know it.
So you know that guy's still playing basketball. And so basically it's going to be Melbourne versus Illawarra. So our Wollongong fans, they'll be celebrating and they'll be the home court for this finals. We're looking at basically a Melbourne team that's got two elite players. Delhi is one of them, and Chris Goulding is another one. And then Illawarra is a bit of a team. So everything to play for. Watch it. It'll be Saturday in the day, I think, for American fans. So if you want to check that and see what Matthew Dellevedova can do. Can he be the second Aussie ever to win an NBA and NBL championship?
I can promise it will be a delight. So,
and if he wins, we're going to be hitting our famous Delhi Selly, which is, of course, his jump shot from behind the head.
Nothing but cash. So, anyway, enough of that, mate. Let's get back. What are the fans really here for? And
that's it.
Deep NBA analysis.
That's it. And we're going to have to start with our This is kind of our look into the playoff vision. We're sort of giving our...
Mark your calendar.
That's it. Our premonitions are coming out. And we're going to do that through our segment, Bank Shot. Alrighty, is it a bull market? Is it a bear market? We're about to find out here on Bank Shot. What we're going to be talking about is stocks that we are investing in or dropping, but these aren't stocks you can buy on any stock exchange. These are NBA stocks. These may be players, these may be teams, these may be other paraphernalia. And Tommy, there's only one person I have to start with today, and this wasn't on our pre-approved list, but it's happened minutes before we recorded this.
Oh, wow.
And that is a Bank Shot. Are you buying or selling stocks on Sandro Mamukelashvili?
I saw this.
34 points in 19 minutes. Now, if people are wondering why we care so much about this guy, he's been mentioned heavily on the last two podcasts.
Oh, man. Between him and Delhi.
We've been saying the Spurs should go to him a lot for tanking purposes. Well, didn't he just prove us wrong? Turned into LeBron James circa 2016.
Mate. Egg on our face. He got roasted in last episode's Rhyme Out category, and he's just taken that straight to heart. He took it personal, MJ style, and I also saw this. The man was a beast. I think he was like 11 for 16, 15 boards, something ridiculous. He was just out there cooking whatever. I don't even know who they were playing, but I mean, look, the Spurs are in all sorts. I don't know if you saw De'Aaron Fox is just out. They decided to get him to get surgery. So many, and just as a side note, I don't know if you've noticed this, so many teams in the NBA have just gone, that's the season. They're done. There's still like 15, 20 games. Doesn't matter. We'll just wash our hands of it. You know, we're finished.
I mean, the most egregious being the 76ers. They're just like, we're not even going to give excuses. We want our draft pick back.
It's so tough to watch. Because I was like checking the other day, I'm like, the playoffs don't start yet, do they? Like, we're still like a month away, aren't we? I mean, teams have just... And I think it's this, like... I think as the years go on, this will actually extend, and teams will just get further and further closer to, like, the NBA All-Star, and just go, you know what? We can't make a... Like, unless we have a 5, 6, 7-game win streak, this is it, and we're just going to tank, and that's it. But yeah, the Kalashvili was absolutely, like, schooling the other team. You love to see it. I'm buying stocks. Sorry, I'm buying Mamukelashvili.
Yeah.
I never sold them, but I'm buying more, mate.
And we want to remind the fans, it's against the Knicks as well, so you love to see it. An actually good team, just him living his best life. And you know what? Is he ever going to have another NBA highlight? Probably not. But you know what? This is a good one to go out on. So good on you, Sandro. Tell me, what did you want to offer to our listeners as a sell or buy on the stock exchange?
I want to start with the Lakers, mostly because in true NBA fashion, there's some insider trading here. I'll remind all of our listeners who have been taking it to the bank, the conspiracy is still real. Going into the postseason with the Lakers, I'm buying stocks. I have to. You know, I'm a smart investor. Money doesn't have feelings. Is that what Ben Shapiro said once? You know what I mean? No, maybe it's truth. Doesn't matter. Warren Buffett. Money doesn't have feelings. And let's be honest. Everyone knows Luka is going to drag that ragtag team plus LeBron at least to the second round, if not further. Their first round at the moment, if the playoffs were to start today, is the Grizzlies. Look, they've been playing all right. They're hardly blooded, though, so I don't really have... that's one thing the NBA really has, is that teams to go deep in the playoffs have to kind of have a season where they get far and get knocked back. They have to be blooded. And that's happened with the Mavs. That happened with the Celtics a couple of seasons. It happened with the Bucks, with the Wall. It's happened with... So that's why Grizzlies, Houston... I'm selling stocks on them. Just as a quick aside, Lakers, I'm buying them because they have kind of perennially been sort of annoyingly playoff contenders. You know what I mean? And not a rollover. So I'm buying Lakers stocks.
Great. I think I'm also going to buy Lakers stocks for the same reason you're saying. Look, if the NBA is a conspiracy here with this Luka trade, then you want to best invest in the story they're trying to sell, right? Now, unfortunately for the NBA, I don't know if you saw this week. Veteran referee Scott Foster has done his knee. He's going to be out for the playoffs, which is going to be hard for the NBA because he was one of their best for selling a game to extend it to a game 7, you know?
CP3's got something to say about that, mate.
He'll be heartbroken he's not in the playoffs this season. But yeah, I think it's just, you got to look at this as, look, the Luka trade, clearly something's gone on, which means that this playoff, something's going to go on. And I really feel bad for all the teams that are going to be left in the wake here.
Oh, man.
Because there's going to be a game where the I'm predicting it could be a game where the Lakers could do almost triple the amount of free throws as another team.
Luka gets calls as it is. You know what I mean? He genuinely gets calls as it is. Him playing for the Lakers is a diabolical, mismatch, really.
It's a free throw watcher's delight, and I don't know how many of them are still left in the NBA's viewership.
Endangered species, goodness me.
All right, so we're both pretty bullish there.
Yeah,
well, let's go to their rival here. I wanted to go to the Boston Celtics here. Buying or selling stocks. Now, for me, this is an interesting one. I'll tell you one thing I like, one thing I don't like. Yep. One thing I like about them is when Porzingis is on the court. They're just really annoying to play.
They're tough.
They're just too well coached. The thing I don't like about them, Porzingis is not on the court really that often, and Drew Holiday is starting to look a little rusty, which is kind of making the Dame trade almost look like actually a bit of a veteran move by John Horst, which I may have to owe an apology.
We may publicly have to go on the record and say Horst has actually, the last kind of 3 months, he's looked pretty good. I'll give you a little taste of the Porzingis, just anecdotally. I saw that he played that he got 25 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists the other day. My first thought was, oh, he played. I was like, has he played much this season? I feel like I never see him on the court. So, they are annoying with him playing. But I've actually had a few conversations with some mates recently.
Here we go.
Drew, and this is what people have been saying, Drew Holiday is not that 1 through 5 switchable defender that he was in 21 in our championship run, and even in the Celtics run last year. I think he's turned the corner a little bit. He's a bit older. Still a great, I think, glue team guy. You know I love Drew. I'm actually repping a little bit.
Nice. You're
forever,
on holiday.
Forever on holiday. It's actually making... Because Dame is still... He's not the same, but he's still Dame. Let's be honest. So I am actually buying Celtic stocks tentatively. Just kind of a little bit. I'm not too bullish on it. Only because their first round at the moment is looking like either the Magic or Hawks. Probably going to be Orlando. who they will absolutely cook. I just can't see the Magic scoring north of 90 points.
Mm-hmm.
And then their next matchup will probably be the Knicks, which we'll talk about in a second. So I think that they've essentially got a one-way ticket to the conference finals at this rate. And they'll probably count that as a success, getting at least to the conference finals, and probably further. So,
what do you think about? Can I ask, just while we're on the Celtics, where are you with the Jason Tatum is disrespected conversation? Like, let me just say where I'm at with it, just quickly.
I can guess.
You can guess, but I think one thing that really gets not really well understood about people when we talk about basketball in the NBA, and this is a huge part of it that we just never talk about. It's why MJ was so good and so revered. It's the entertainment factor.
Yes.
Like, am I being entertained? Is Ja Morant more entertaining than Jason Tatum?
Yep.
Definitely. 100%. Yep. And that's why he's more popular.
Yep.
And unfortunately, the Celtics are boring. I hate to say it to them, but there's, like, all good superstars can be a really good villain. Like, even Trae Young, it's almost his best skill, is being a good villain.
Yeah.
They don't have villains on their team. They have people that show up, clock in, do their job, and they do it well.
Joe Mazzulla, like, embodies this.
Yeah. But they're not starting stuff, you know? They're just locked in. And is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? I guess we're going to find out, but I am just going to say no one's afraid of them.
No, and we've been saying for years they're the most bullyable team in the league. I think for me as well, what's big in the NBA is the entertainment factor. The NBA really rides hard on major teams as well, major markets. And I have absolutely zero sympathy for Tatum at all because they're in a major market. The Celtics will always be able to afford whoever they need to or want to afford. And look, I understand that they drafted well with Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Like, that is homegrown talent and fair cop. But I'm not going to feel bad for him that he deserves... Like, he gets every call he wants. And, like, I think I would actually like Tatum more if he played for, like, the Kings, or he played for the Grizzlies, or he played for the Hawks. You know, these are, like, small market teams, and, like, it kind of has that chip. I don't know why he plays like he has a chip on his shoulder. It's like, dude, you're a very successful basketball player. You've been to the conference finals a bunch of times. You didn't get finals MVP. That's like the only thing you didn't get. That's kind of because you were cheeks in that series. I don't feel bad for him at all.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm selling stocks.
Celtics, man.
Even with all that, you're buying stocks. Who you got next for us, Tommy?
Yeah, we've already mentioned it quickly. Just on the Knicks, I'm selling up big time, baby. I'm clearing it out on this. I think I had some stocks in the Knicks maybe a couple of episodes ago. But the more I think, like, the fact that they're seeing the Celtics in the second round, if it lined up so it was probably conference finals, I'd probably be a bit more bullish on them. But they're just going to be so injured. Like, it's a classic Tibbs. They'll be beaten up. Brunson's also already dealing with a rolled ankle, which I feel like happens every year right before the playoffs. I feel like they had the same thing with, like, Josh Hart last season or something. Like, I think DiVincenzo was dealing with rolled ankles, like, or knees. I know Hartenstein was injured for ages. Like, they always have big injuries. So, yeah, I just can't see them going far. I also think they're kind of perennially a second-round exit, so I'm selling on Knicks.
Yeah, I'm also selling on Knicks. Again, Knicks fans, we're sorry, but the reason it actually has nothing to do with the roster. It's got to do with Tibbs. He just overplays his guys. There's teams that don't do it. Like the Thunder is not really playing its guys because they got so many guys. They just keep rolling people out, and that's just going to make them healthy for the playoffs. And unfortunately, Tibbs is too bullhardy about this kind of philosophy. It's the same problem Coach Bud had when he coached the Bucks, which is that he believed in his philosophy too much. There's just no flexibility. And I think that what's going to happen is it's just I can't see how they're going to make it through 4 rounds without injuries. And injuries can really swing any playoff series. It's the last thing you want. And this is just a bad strategy for that, in my opinion. So, Knicks, hate to Knicks you, but you're gone.
See you later, mate. Who have you got next, mate?
The Cavs. The big talking point.
Yes.
So where are you at? What, buying or selling? They've just had a couple losses. They had that 15, 16 game winning streak, whatever.
Yep.
Where are you at heading into the playoffs? Where are you at?
I don't know. I'm kind of holding. I'm kind of like,
okay.
I don't know how I'm saying wait and see, but I'm waiting and seeing. I think I've had it on the record for a while saying they're going to be a second round exit. They haven't really been blooded again. Their second round is likely will be the Bucks or the Pacers. Hopefully the Bucks. But even that, I think if whoever it is, as much as I'm like a Bucks through and through, let's go baby, ride or die, I do think they'll probably beat either team. Pacers are definitely not going to the conference finals again. I don't care what anyone says. They're going to get pumped. But I think they'll potentially lose in the second round. If they don't, they're definitely losing the conference finals. I can't see them beating the Celtics.
Wow.
I just feel like I don't know what it is. I just smell a Utah 4 years ago in the water. That's what I'm smelling. I'm smelling Grizzlies 3 years ago in the water. They had a crazy record. Like, they were best in the league. I'm fine in the West, someone once said. I'm just not buying playoff, longevity. Although they do have a pretty deep team, I'm kind of holding. I think this would be a great test for them. But
you know what I think it hinges on?
Yep.
The whole thing hinges on
Sam Merrill.
The peril.
I can't believe we got it. Mate, every time he splashes a three, I just...
Okay, just a quick aside. Who's the ex-Bucks player that hurts you the most when you watch him? I'll tell you who it is for me. DiVincenzo.
Yeah.
He's got an all-round game, and he would be so good on the Bucks. And he's such a good backup point guard. To me, he's the person that I look at as a Bucks fan, and I go, heartbreaking trade.
The only thing that I'll say to DiVincenzo is that he has been injured a little in and out. Now, is that because Tibbs ran him into the ground? Maybe. He has been a little injured this year. I mean, is that just bad luck? I didn't feel like he got injured right before we traded him. I didn't feel like it was that bad. It was his first injury. But yeah, that one stings me the most. You've said quite rightly that Brogdon was probably, in hindsight, a good trade. Yeah, I was dirty when Bryn Forbes went because he was actually really... I know that's a deep cut. That's a deep cut. But I thought Bryn Forbes was actually really good, but then he kind of dropped off the radar, so maybe he was just good in our system. Yeah, Sam Merrill, though, like he's kind of been splashing it. That one hurts me at the moment because he's been good all year and he was good last year too. It's tough.
Sorry. And low-key Sandro Kalishvili.
And big ups to our Kalishvili brother.
And honestly, Thanasis is another one that you got to throw into that mix.
Have you seen, sorry, we're going off script here. Have you seen Thanasis at sideline of all the Bucks games recently? He's so good, man. And you know what? I feel happy seeing him. I don't know how... Now I know how Giannis feels. Because when I was seeing him, I'm like, we're back, baby. Thanasis is there. He's like almost... I think I saw him like almost coaching and stuff, like from the sideline, G'ing up Giannis. So, yeah, I don't know what he's at in his life in between Thanalysis episodes. But I'm just happy to see him again.
You know, I really think that if Bango ever gets injured, they should just suit up Thanasis because he's got the energy and he knows the Bucks fans. And can you imagine if the reveal of Thanasis's head out of the Bango head, the crowd would explode.
Would literally explode. It would self-ignite in ecstatic, excitement. Sorry, Cavs. Yeah. What are you doing with your stocks? Because the Cavs, like you said, they lost that game today. Whatever. They're still 52 and 14, something ridiculous.
Yeah, no, you know what I think it hinges on? I think it hinges on how well is Mobley gonna guard big players. How well is he gonna be able to guard big players, and can he run the center for a lot of the game? Can they pull Allen? Because Allen is going to be a weakness for... Dame is just going to bring him up every time. I mean, I know they'll base their defense around not letting that happen, but it's going to be the primary option. And so I think that it's going to depend what can, because Allen's just going to come out. They're going to get Brunson if that's a matchup, if that potentially happens.
Every day.
Halliburton, it's just, they're all going to pick on him. So it's going to be what can Mobley do against guards, I think. And I think he's pretty good, so it'll be interesting to see.
He is pretty good. I'm kind of reminded of like Chet from last year in the playoffs. Like he got punished. But he was more punished not by fast guards, more by big guys like deep in the paint, in the post. I wonder if they'll go that route or if, I can just see, Hallie Brunson just eating him for lunch. But, they're also pretty deep. Like, Max Strus, I don't know, has been playing pretty good. I don't know, dude. I kind of like Darius Garland. I don't mind the Cavs. Like, as a team, I'm mid on them. They're kind of just small market enough for me to enjoy them. And I feel like they're not pricks. Like, they have a humility about their season. So, that's where I'm at with the Cavs. I'm kind of holding steady.
All right, I think I might buy some. I'll buy some a little bit right now. I think that's where I'm at. Right. I can see him making the finals. I can see him just being trippy. But I can also see him being a second round exit for sure.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in there. The last one that I wanted to do. This is a bit of an unscripted one here. Are you buying or selling? This is just something I've noticed. Herky Jerky offensive players.
Do you mean just like players they like the microwave?
I'm talking SGA. I'm talking Jalen Brunson, where it's just herky jerky. It's slow mo. It's people where you're like, when are they releasing this jump shot? Because I've seen them put their feet down, and now it could be 10 seconds till they release the ball here.
Yeah, Brook Lopez kind of does this. I feel like, especially recently, he's just been ridiculous. Those spin fades that he does. I'm probably buying into it. I mean, they're two of the best players, or some of the best, at least SGA in the league. I also think that like they're hard to guard, and I wonder how it's going to go in the playoffs. I think they're going to go pretty well. Like this is SGA's chance to really make a name for himself. But I think Herky Jerky's fine. They work well in the system. That's why they're fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think my theory with Herky Jerky is it's about the new NBA, and it's about how everyone kind of knows the stats now. Everyone knows it's threes and layups if you can get that.
Yep.
And so now every team does that. So what's the difference now?
Yep.
And now it's Herky Jerky mid-range guys that can cook in the mid-range and around and finish around the bucket, I reckon.
Yeah, people have been saying for seasons now that it's all threes and layups, which it is. But if you look, there's actually a lot of middies that are taken. You know what I mean? Like SGA shoots a lot of middies. Obviously, KD, Booker, Giannis has been hitting a lot. Jamal Murray hits a lot. Like these are, Dame. It's definitely still in the bag. So I believe it.
Nice. Did you have any other stocks you wanted to warn our investors about?
No, I think that's good for now.
Sick. All right, let's jump on to our next segment. We haven't done this one in a while, so fans of a slightly deeper cut, of a slightly older ilk will enjoy this. And this is our segment, Shots Fired. Welcome to Shots Fired. This is our segment where we take a first team of NBA players, maybe sometimes NBA concepts, but we're not doing a first team all offense, first team all defense, first team all NBA. We're doing a first team of our own creation. And today we're going to be talking about first team all empty calories, and that's where the Shots Fired comes in. So, Tommy, I wanted to just lay a theory out before we start this.
Go for it.
What is an empty calorie player? So I thought for me, this is how I define it. I want to get your theory as well. But for me, it's people who either are just primary scorers and they don't give you a lot else on the team, or they do give you sometimes some other stuff on a team, but the team never does well for some reason. So how do you feel about that definition? Yeah,
that's good. I would like to extend it as well. It's not just points, boards, assists, steals. It's also teams that not only are doing poorly, but just there's no kind of plan for the future. This isn't simply just like the worst team in the league, although usually it is. This is teams that like, it doesn't matter what year it is, there's no hope. And we'll talk about this later, but the Wizards are a great example. Like you can't be disappointed in the Wizards season because you go into that season being like, this sucks.
It's getting to the point. Yeah, it's getting to the point where they should actually hire real Wizards to play because they'd probably give them a better result.
I think there should be a Royal Commission inquiry into why the Wizards aren't a G League team. Quite frankly.
The NBA wants expansion. They're actually going to lose a team. It's just, they're just not up to par.
Seriously. They're not, and for those who've been watching carefully, they're actually not even the worst team in the league. Which brings me, if I may be so bold, to my first at centre. I've got someone who is from the worst team in the league, which is not the Wizards. It's actually the Utah Jazz.
Wow.
Yep. So at centre, I've got Walker Kessler, who's averaging 11.5 points and 12.5 boards. So he's averaging a double-double. And I don't know if you've seen, he got like 25 rebounds the other day in a game. Like, these are Jokic kind of, wilt numbers. But he's doing this on the worst team in the league, which has been the worst for the last couple of years. Look, I get that I just said 4 years ago, Utah, they were great. They sold all their assets, got rid of Rudy, got rid of Spider. But they still they don't really have an identity. Doesn't feel like they're building, doesn't feel like they have this kind of long-term sort of, we're going to draft or whatever. And Walker Kessler's just out there, like, Dennis Rodman style, pulling down every board possible. And it's empty calories. Also, put it this way, who's talking about Walker Kessler? Is he even on radars? I'm shooting some shots here. Is he on anyone's radar? Is anyone asking to trade Walker Kessler? He's just a white dude who gets a lot of rebounds. I'm sorry. He just is.
Is he in the running for the Andre Drummond Award for most empty calorie boards this season?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Do you remember the Andre Drummond quote where he said, sometimes he'd deliberately miss shots to get himself more boards? Just nothing more empty calories than that, than that move.
And that's the energy for Walker Kessler, because have this as a thought experiment. What team wants him? What team's going to trade for him? Where does he fit and to whom? Who cares? Who Kesslers?
All right, well, that's good. That's not who I had at center, so I'm fascinated by that. I love that choice, Tommy. I wanted to pick someone who I wanted to congratulate on setting a record actually this week. Dear. I don't know if you saw this one. He's a character we love to talk about here, but he was the fastest player to 2,000 turnovers. I don't know if you saw this week.
Ooh, I
want to congratulate Trae Young on beating out John Wall, who was the previous record holder. I think he actually got him by a year, or like a couple of hundred games even. So he's first player to 2,000, the fastest player to 2,000 turnovers. And nothing to me screams empty calories more than Trae Young. And I want to kind of explain why. His teams every year are the same record. It's like 42 and 40, and 40. He's going to give you some of the lowest percentage looks you're going to see.
Yep.
And unfortunately for his team, he's box office. So they kind of have to keep him around. But yeah, for me, it's just Trae Young. You're a hero that's unsung, but you're also a little too sung. So Trae Young, empty calories for me.
Yeah, he's been in this in between. He took his team to the conference finals against the Bucks. So he's shown that he's good, but it's also just the Hawks are so crap, and you watch them and you're like, oh man, this is hard viewing. You know what I mean? Who else is on that team other than Dyson Daniels, the vacuum cleaner? We never forget the Great Barrier Thief. But who else is on that team who's even a little bit good? It's empty calories. I also, again, who's going to it's not a destination. It's not a destination team. I think about this as well. It's an under-talked about thing in the NBA. Teams that are attractive that people want to go to. Everyone wants to go to the Lakers. Mm-hmm. People will go to the Celtics. People used to want to go to Dallas. No one wants to go to the Hawks. No one wants to go to Utah. Why would you bother? So, empty calories.
Well,
I'm hungry.
just left hungry. Well, I actually wanted to kind of do a little theory on this as well. And to me, it's the difference between a 1A and a 1B. Okay? And I think weirdly, sometimes Trae Young fits the 1A category. But I think this also lends into our empty calories chat. Who's a 1B? Who's a 1A? And for me, tell me if you think this is the difference. Okay? So number one is, when they're on nights where their best skill is not working, can they still bring something? Okay, so Trae Young, I don't know if the answer is yes to that. Second thing, I think Trae Young does qualify for this. You're down 7 with 5 minutes left and you think it's all good. We got this player. And then part 3, this is an additional one. Are they entertaining?
Yeah, I think you know my answers to this, mate. He's obviously entertaining. He doesn't have that I kind of, with your first 1A, I think of Drew Holiday, who's going to be taking a charge, playing tough defense. Obviously a great voice in the locker room timeouts, whatever. So can contribute in other ways. And what was it? Down 7 with 5 minutes. Have we got this?
Yeah.
Down 7 with 5 minutes, takes a half court shot. Is what typifies the Trae Young experience. So, the thing is, I actually don't think he cares about it. And this is the thing with empty calorie players. I don't think he cares. I think he's like, look, I'm going to get my max, probably a super max. They're going to keep him around. They're not going to trade him. Well, after the Luka trade, maybe they will. But they picked him over Luka. So, I don't know.
Trae Young, you've come undone. All right,
he's
Tommy.
no fun.
He's no fun.
Okay, I've got... look, this is a bit of a layup at shooting guard. I've got someone... We've mentioned this team already. Again, everyone's thinking about it when it comes to first team empty calories. It has to be Jordan Poole. The man is averaging at the moment a career best 20.8 points on average. The Wizards are the second worst team in the league, narrowly beating out the Utah Jazz, I think, by like a loss. Like, I think they had the same amount of wins, but they've lost one less game. So that's tough when you're passing it out so thinly. But yeah, Jordan Poole, again, the thing that really embodies him as an empty calories player is that he just does not give a rat's that he is scoring these. He could go 1 for 11, which he did today, or he could go like 10 for 12, and he doesn't care. I don't know if you saw that they beat Denver the other day. He beat them with a deep 3, and it's like, this is the most Jordan Poole shot I've ever seen, and the most empty calorie shot I've ever seen. So yeah, I've got him at shooting guard.
It's got to be the worst thing as well for every other Wizard, because all of them would have hung their head after that, knowing every game for the rest of the season that close, he's taking that same shot.
Yeah, he's taking that, baby. I don't feel bad for him because he's like, I got my money. It doesn't matter. You know.
I feel happy for his centers. Getting a lot of rebounds, and that's what they should be doing.
Get Walker Kessler on the team, I reckon, and let that man eat.
Alrighty, I wanted to go I think this is a bit of a roast and a bit of a shots fired, but I wanted to just sing this out to this man who's never made it out of the first round of the playoffs. He gets talked about as a huge trade candidate all the time.
Yeah.
And that's our man, Shaquille O'Neal Lavine. This man, every time your team plays him, he goes off.
Yeah.
But for some reason, his teams are 500 his entire career.
Yeah.
This man cannot get out of the first round if he even makes it.
Has he made it once?
I think he's made it once with the Timberwolves. Has he? We might have to look this up. Has Zach Lavine ever played in the playoffs? He must have. No, he would have for the Bulls. For the Bulls. He played against us for the Bulls. I think he's one of these players that when he gets to the end of his career, he could be looking at records for longest career with fewest playoff games. That's kind of where his career is. And as much as he is a good player and he hits a good shot, I just cannot see a team that uses him to be really successful because he's just built to be a max small market player.
All right, so I've just got these hot stats here for you, mate.
Great.
So in 2022, he played Milwaukee as part of the Bulls. And this is in the first round, I believe. I think I remember this.
Yeah.
5
games.
It did go to 5 games. They won game 2. He scored, let's have a look at his points, 18, 20, 15, and 24, with a plus-minus aggregate of minus 41.
That couldn't be more Zach Lavine empty calories. If you tried to pass those
tough.
2 stats, that's exactly what you're looking for.
Oh, that's really tough. He was shooting .462 from the field. He only hit 9 3-pointers the whole series. Man, he was averaging like 35 minutes too. Like he was playing a lot. Yeah, that's probably a forgettable. I would say that one is. But empty calories, Zach Lavine. And I don't know what he's going to do in his career going forward.
He's a very Kings player, and I'm happy they found each other.
It is a very Kings player, actually. All right, so I've got another guard here. I've actually got a couple of guards, but yeah, I actually feel bad for this player. I actually kind of like him. Hate the team, like the player. And that is my man Tyrese Maxey of the 76ers. And I actually think that he's a consummate professional. He plays hard. He plays well. He's a genuine all-star. He's averaging 26 this season on a wasteland 76ers team. And I don't know, it doesn't get more empty calories than that because he actually has the disappointment. Everyone, when, they re-signed Paul George a couple of years, obviously, MVP is only a year or two old from winning the award, that is. And he's had to be the guy who's the number one option when he really should be the third option. So, yeah, poor Tyrese Maxey. Bro, you could be averaging 30 and no one would care, and your team would still suck, unfortunately. You would hate to be a 76er. They're also a major market, though, so this is what I'm saying. I don't care about the team at all, but I feel bad for him. They won't trade him either. They will, it's like he's been pinned to the team. They won't let him go because they're like, we need someone. And he's also entertaining, you know what we're talking about. So he can't even really request a trade because they're like, no, you're staying. We'll give you money, All
right, Tommy, instant bank shot. Who would you rather be a fan of, Mavs or Sixers going forward?
Sixers just because of Tyrese Maxey.
Okay.
And I hate the Sixers. But the Mavs are just in a whole level. They're in a different Dante ring of hell.
They're so bad. I put this up on Reddit and it got a bit of traction here on the NBA Talk.
Yeah.
But I was saying, it's getting so bad. I don't know if you heard that they may have to forfeit a game. They have that few players.
I did.
Because they can't sign new players. I've pitched this idea. Why don't... They're already paying a Hall of Fame coach in Jason Kidd, former point guard.
Suit him up.
He's already being paid. Let's just get him on the court.
All he has to do is kind of walk on up and down, jog up and down, throw a few lobs, and he'd probably still average 5 or 6 assists a game.
Yeah. Does it have the potential to have a bit of Paul Tyson in terms of grotesque beating up of an old man? Potentially. But is there a chance that he throws an amazing lob or two? Definitely. It's must-watch TV.
And this is it. It's entertainment. I'll watch it. Look, the Mavs are in. And look, we'll get to this in a later segment. I've got a little something to say about them. But, they're in a lot of pain right now. They really... they're not maxing out Maxey in the Sixers. And unfortunately, he rounds out our team. Did you have a sixth man you wanted to highlight at all? Yeah, I've got to highlight, again, a dude who doesn't get spoken about much, but he's an incredible player. So I'll just describe him for you, okay?
Okay.
So the average is about 18 or so points.
Like it.
8 boards, 8 assists.
Okay.
You're like, whoa, okay, this is not bad. Couple of steals and a block a game on average, consistently. Okay. Great wingspan, moves his feet. He's young. You're thinking, whoa. Can we trade him for the Bucks? Who is this mystery player? He plays power forward or small forward, so can kind of guard on the perimeter. Who am I thinking of? He's on a team that is in perpetual limbo and purgatory. Hasn't been mentioned yet. That team is the Toronto Raptors. Who am I thinking of? It's none other than Scotty Barnes. Check the stats. The man has had a couple of really nice seasons. He's rarely injured. He's a great piece. He's entertaining as well. He's funny. He's kind of got that meme sort of capacity about him. But they are languishing, the Raptors that is, and he's putting together season after season that is really quality and balanced as well. I feel bad for him. I don't love the Raptors. I'm burnt off a few choice postseasons that we've had in the past. But I really like him. I think he's fun. And again, they're not letting him go. They'll throw so much money at him so that he doesn't go. So empty calories across the plate. You know what I mean? This is food pyramid. He's got carbohydrates, sugars, fruit. It's all, forget about it.
Wow. Scotty Barnes. You know, the Raptors are starting to enter the territory that the Orlando Magic were a couple seasons ago, where they're becoming the most brandless team in basketball.
Oh, aren't they?
It's not good.
No amount of ridiculous dinosaur, a mascot meme falling over videos can I watch on YouTube can revive that franchise at this stage.
Well, yes. So I guess Scotty Barnes, you're staying on the Craptors. We'll see you next time, mate. All right, Tommy, let's jump into our most unique segment, I think. And if you're a new listener, you're going to enjoy this. No other show has a recurring segment every episode that is poetry about random bits of the NBA. You're not going to find it anywhere else. So, Tommy, it's time to take a rhyme out. Fantastic. Welcome to Rhyme Out, our open mic here where we do a bit of open mic poetry for a random concept in NBA. As is tradition, Tom, you're going to have to lead us off.
Okay.
So I want you to step up to the mic. Everybody, please welcome Tom Nixon to Rhyme Out.
Thank you. A lot of my rhyme outs have been Bucks related, and this week is no different.
All of them, actually, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So when you said NBA related, I think I need to start branching out. But look, for this week, we're sticking with the Bucks. This is a Bucks podcast, after all. Okay. This is based off the last few games, so this is close to my heart, this poem. It's passionate.
Mm-hmm.
Ranked 15th in the league at 113 per game, with 2 top 75 players that should make it rain, I take offense at our offense. For 3 quarters, everything goes swimmingly. Brook escapes 3-second violations to block the rim, Ingley. Yes, our defense is no longer the issue. Kuz's footwork got me reaching for that tissue. Instead, when that dreaded final 12 hits, we run the same pick and roll, resulting in tough looks that frequently miss. So Doc calls a timeout and forgets to draw up a play. And I spend the time preparing for Rhyme Out to see Giannis drive to the bucket unafraid. Can someone please throw that man a lob? Else all I'll do is sob. I fear that once again in the playoffs we'll be robbed by none other than a man named Doc.
Wow. Okay. Well, I don't want to get into this too much because we do have a Bucks chat coming up, but I will say there's a lot of things in there that I do want to touch on, and we're going to have to get in. But for us listening to this in the future, the Bucks have just gone 5 of 7 in their last, where they lost that 5. That's not a positive 5 and 7. That's a negative 5 and 7. So we're in a bit of a tough period just heading into the playoffs. Yes. There's a lot in there. Some really good rhymes in there. I also like the use of like the old English where you started a sentence with else. I like that. That was kind of added a bit of sauce.
Yeah, look, I've just seen us throw it away in the fourth quarter too long. We won't get there.
No.
But yeah, I thought I'd wet our Bucks palate with a little bit of bit of poem about it. And look, actually, big ups to Brooke recently. Been kind of cooking.
Yeah.
But without further ado, my co-host, best mate, and a rhyme machine, Mr. Fenton Menzies, I welcome Jez up to the stage.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Tipping my fedora there for this segment. Here we go. So this one, the rhyme scheme does get a little bit all over the shop in terms of just meter, and you'll see. There's not a lot of consistency, but hopefully I'll land the plane here.
I'd have it no other way.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a poem for a team that has underachieved so much this season that it's actually amazing. So let me kick this off. 10th seed, no Embiid, paying 45 mil for podcast P. PG and Joel make 100 mil, played the Olympics, now they're going to chill. I'd like to see a little lessy of Maury, a little more of Maxey. They want to end this whole... I think they want to end this whole saga. The fans will even pay for the airport taxi. To all my Sixers fans, I'm sorry, my friends. It's time to start the process again.
Oh,
I just felt like it was time. We had to talk about what has... Like, I mean, look, do we talk about the Sixers every time with a wry smile? Sure.
Oh, it's rye. It's more rye than bread I've consumed.
Just quickly, Tom, let's just get 30 seconds of your thoughts on... You've got a team now who's not only thrown in the towel, but it is... They're looking at... I just looked on before this podcast. They're paying $100 million for PG and Embiid, and both of those players just signed their extensions this season. That's $100 million and more going forward. I just want to get your thoughts on where the Sixers are at and what's going on there.
Yeah, they're in a world of pain. I've seen a couple of their rookies play all right, but it's a tough day at the office when your bright sparks are your third option and some nameless rookies. I don't know if they will... So... Even if they come back next season healthier, I think both of them at best are like mid-season returns. At best, they're like looking at a first round, like they may sneak into the first round. But yeah, I think that the hardest pill for them to have to swallow is to say we have to start the process again, because they've been on the process for 6 seasons. Is that right? Maybe a bit longer.
Way longer,
7.
dude. They've done the process since 2013.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we're at the tail end now with Embiid, because that's like when they started tanking to start getting Ben Simmons and classic and
tough
Embiid. And Markelle Fultz. Jeez, that is a murderer's row of rough first, like, top 3 picks.
And also, you'd love to see them in a game of horse, because those men, they have the most broken jumpers I've seen.
Wow.
I think Delhi would just take them to the shop with that. So
it's, you know what? And just quickly, I think let's just do a quick 15 seconds here, because now I think we're actually looking at Embiid's legacy, and I think we can see the whole thing. Like, the whole picture has now been drawn out. We know what it looks like.
Yep.
And unless he's going to be like one of these guys who comes off the bench for a championship, like he decides like I'm going to take a minimum and play for OKC and come off the bench.
Yep.
His career is going to be like second. The highlight is Kawhi shot.
Yeah, it broke him. We've said it before, we'll say it again. That second round really broke him and them, and they haven't recovered since. And I don't know what they're going to do, man. What do you think? What's their play? Like, just real quick, what's their play? Because they can't get out of these contracts. No one will take the trades. PG's career is probably over as well. He may be like a good 6th man off the bench. I'm not sure he'll want to do that. But what's their play from here for like next season after?
It's like it's grim. I don't think they're looking at a lot of good options. My thoughts are you have to fire the coach first of all, because it's too hard to move the other players. So you just have to go, let's hope it's a coaching issue.
Scapegoat.
And you got to go for that. And if that doesn't work, you just sack the GM and you just go, we're going to ride this out and it's just going to look rough. Or the alternative is you go OKC and you go, you know what? Let's just drop Maxey because he's got value. And let's start pulling in some, like, let's see if we can pair Maxey and one of the other two in like a big swap. Take on some other bad contract that's going to end soon, and just like look for a team that doesn't have a good center and go like, can we sell you Embiid and maybe one of our other good players, like their other player that was good at the start of the season, their other rookie McCain. Like, do you go like, let's try and package those two? Let's just kind of start again and have PG as our Chris Middleton was this season, injured but a vet, and just kind of go from there.
He doesn't have the relational equity that like Middleton had. You know what I mean? Middleton deserves a banner. PG deserves the door.
Yeah. Podcast P, unfortunate. All right, well, Tommy, I think we've got to get to our Bucks chat quickly here. We got to talk about it heading into the playoffs. If you're not a Bucks fan, I would suggest listening to this because we've been locked in. We're going to give you all the hot tips and kind of what's been going on. So it's, as always, time for Bucks chat. Alrighty, this is Bucks chat. And if you're looking at this and going, what does that have to do with the Milwaukee Bucks? It was the only animation I could find that had a buck as part of it. So that's why it kind of has a somber feel to it. But we're both energized about how we're feeling about heading into the playoffs here in many ways. I wanted you to kick us off, Tommy. A couple weeks away from playoffs. How are you seeing the Bucks?
Yeah, look, we all knew that there was going to be a few games skid. It happens every season. Right before the playoffs, we lose a couple of unfortunate games. I'm thinking about that Indiana game the other day. Very winnable game without Steph Curry against the Warriors yesterday. But I'm feeling good. Kevin Porter Jr. has been playing really, really well. Jericho Sims, minus a thumb injury, but he'll be back, has been playing really, really well. I have concerns, which we'll get to. But I actually think that, weirdly, we've gotten quite deep. Gary Trent Jr. is looking like an incredible sixth man of the year at the moment, even though he's probably not played and he started too much. Bobby's just about to come back in a few games. I don't know. I feel like our shooters have been shooting pretty well. I'm feeling good, man. Our first round is going to be against the Pacers, almost definitely. Nothing is going to taste sweeter than putting them away after last year. Giannis will be healthy. Dame will be healthy. I cannot see how they can beat us in 7 games with a healthy Giannis and Dame, especially with the additions I just spoke of. So, I don't love Kuz. Like we'll get to the negatives in a second. Just to foreshadow it, I don't love Kuz as a starter. I think I almost want him coming off the bench, but his defense has been fire, and that has been really underappreciated. Like, everyone's kind of talking about how he's 29% from 3 and that they're letting him shoot, but his defense has been great, and that's kind of why we brought him in. Like, we brought him in to move his feet, and he can do that, and his rebounding's been great. So I'm feeling pretty good, man. How are you feeling on the positives?
Yeah, positives. Dame is looking a lot better this season. Just in general, as opposed to last season, I'm feeling way more confident heading into this off-season. I like that I think he's scoring nicely at all 3 levels, you know. Sometimes I think he's a bit like Luka, where sometimes his bad shots are better than his good shots. Sometimes I feel that way.
Absolutely.
But that's okay. That's a type of player, and that's not too bad. I like where Brook Lopez is. I like where TP is. TP's looking really solid. AJ Green, I'm hoping will heat up a little bit heading into the
that's all right.
Playoffs. Yeah. And
people have got his number now. That's what I'm putting that down to. Like, he's not getting every open look anymore.
Yeah. And the other thing that I'm liking is that we are getting minutes from Jericho Sims, which is we wouldn't have gotten. I can almost guarantee, knowing Doc, we would have never seen minutes from him. But the good thing is it's going to give us an option if someone goes down on the bigs side. He's just finally a young center who can move his feet. That's all. We've wanted one for a while. We've finally got one. Not amazing on the offense, but doesn't really matter. It's okay.
But better than Ajax, which I think is the benchmark here. Like, if you can do a better dunk or a better lob, I'd like it to see him again. He has the Ajax thing where he gets his back to the rim too much. He needs to turn around and go for that hook shot. But yeah, shout out to Brook Lopez, who's actually been on a bit of a tear recently.
For people that aren't watching, he's actually putting the ball on the ground and getting to the rim, weirdly.
And you got to pack a lunch to see that happen eventually. But once you put that sandwich away and finish your milk off, I mean, it goes in.
Yeah. You can see him pick up the ball and click forward 30 seconds, and then he'll be releasing the ball. It's pretty good.
I spend more time hitting that 30-second click than I do on Giannis's free throws. I just put it there. So, and I hit that a lot.
Yeah, so. And I also do feel positive about the Pacers. I feel like everyone on this team really has a bit of a bloodlust to take that team down.
Oh, yeah.
And against the Cavs, I am a little worried. I'm not going to get into the negatives there, but I am feeling positive about what we can do to them in terms of just individual talent versus individual talent. I feel pretty good about that.
And just on reframing as well, on the defense-offense thing I discussed before via poem, our defense has been the issue the last few seasons. We have been we can score, it's great, but we have to outscore them every game. Now we're kind of almost in a reverse situation where we've actually been locking teams down. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's been 3, 4, 5-minute stretches where they don't score. And we've been switching really well, and Giannis hasn't had to carry the weight of the defense as much. So, yeah, I'm actually really optimistic about that going into the playoffs where scoring, where the game does slow down, scoring will get harder. If we already have good defense, then I think that'll play into our hand.
I've got a neutral before we go to negatives.
Yes.
Okay. This is just something I noticed about Kuzma as I've been watching him.
Yeah.
Kuzma to me plays like if Giannis was blazed. That's my thoughts on his playing style.
Yeah, I had a few drinks.
Yeah. Just it's like because he's kind of got some of the stuff that Giannis has.
Yeah,
but he's just a bit sloppier, and he's just a bit like
it's
a little bit,
man.
Yeah, exactly. It's like his hand-eye coordination's just a little
trash,
inhibited.
Yeah, he because he makes crazy layups. Can sink a three. Has a decent mid-range pull-up game.
Mm-hmm. Can drive pretty well, actually.
Right? In transition, not crap. The amount of times I've seen someone do a pass and it's just whoop, straight through. Like butter, baby. And I'm like, that really wasn't the hardest pass to cling onto. So, yeah, no, you're spot on with that. He's definitely like showing up to the ring. A couple of tinnies in. But, look, let's go to our negatives. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I don't know what Doc is drawing up in these timeouts, mate, but our offense is the most one-lane, stale. We just run a pick and roll and never pass the pick. So I don't know how many times I've seen Dame call for the pick and roll. He always shoots it, and if any team noticed this, they would know to just blitz him. Because he always takes the mid-range jump. He never throws a lob for Giannis. He's like the opposite of Steph Curry. He does not slash. He does not run around. His off-ball movement is trash. And I'm just sick of watching like that high screen and roll play, and we just have two shooters in the corners who just stay there. And then someone in like the dunker. It's just so flat and wooden, and it's going to get exposed crazy in the playoffs. So I'm worried about that. And I don't understand, like again, I said it in my poem, I don't understand how we have two top 75 players, scorers, with TP, who's like second best in the league at 3-point. AJ is also shooting at a crazy clip. Gary Trent Jr. is a bucket from three. I don't understand why we can't score more points, and why he's not drawing up plays for people.
I think there's something when I watch JJ Redick versus Doc Rivers, and there's a bit of a difference. And I think JJ is like a new style coach. I think there's new style coaches and there's old style coaches, okay? And when I put Joe Mazzulla in new style, I'd put the coach of the OKC in new style, I'd put Ime Udoka in new style, and I'd put JJ Redick in new style. And I would put Doc and Rick Carlisle, who are going to play probably in the playoffs, in old style. Tibbs. And they come from a different era when not everybody was as skilled. I think what the new style people realize is that your fifth man could have made an all-star team in 2006.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If he was the first option, 100%.
Yeah.
He's averaging 20.
Yeah. So what the new style coaches realize is like, my whole team is a weapon. And how can I unlock that? And I think old style coaches are like, how do I draw up plays that get our best players good looks?
Our stars. Yeah.
Wow. I think that's just big, and I think that
did
the
you
leagues
steal that take, or did you come up with that?
No, I just came up with it then.
Good take.
Good
take.
Because I've been thinking about why JJ Redick's so good, and I think he's got all the old style plays, but I think he just understands the game at a modern thing. That's why he can play no center, because he understands like we know how to make points on the other end.
They got a man called Dalton Connect out there, scoring points. I didn't even know he existed until like 3 weeks ago, and I watch basketball. Man. Who is that dude, and how is he like averaging 15 over the last like month?
And just to kind of put a finer point on it, I think that JJ Redick would play Ajax more, because I think he could work out where Ajax fits into this and how to use him as a slasher, how to use him as a screener. Because when I see our biggest weakness, which is young teams that like to run, Ajax is like the player on our team that we need on the court in those moments, because even if he's not a great offensive player, he's like one of these players, your Great Barrier Thief, your Matisse Thybulle. When they're on defense, good things happen. Yeah, it's just it just throws their offense
energy
off. Yeah,
it's basketball energy. Like he causes deflections. It's intangibles. We talk about it a lot, but he's the guy who he's a disruptor as well.
Offensive rebounds as well that you don't expect. He's just flying in. It's just what he does. He means that they can't let up and start chilling, because otherwise he's just going to find where the ball's going and get it. So
he's also one of the only other players not named Giannis who plays at 100% intensity. If you think about it, the biggest issue with our team, and Dame really typifies this, is that we just get so chill and relaxed and go, oh, we're up by 15. Like, let's just, or we're up by 20. Let's just chill. And we get too cute with it. And we get to like, yeah, the game's done. We'll just walk it up the court. And it's like, you're risking 5 seconds. You get double teamed. And yeah, whereas Giannis and Ajax, like, they usually are playing 10 out of 10 all the time. We need more of that.
Yeah. So anyway, it's gonna depend. It could be like one of these things where an injury could be good for us potentially, like not in our main players, but in one of our lesser players. I could see like that being a good option because I don't love that Doc's not playing him anymore.
What other negatives you got there, big boy?
Other negatives, quickly. I don't think I have that many. My only other thing is if you were to draw out an ideal playoffs for us, who would you draw it up as? Like, just, you can pick any team in the top 8. How are you looking at where, like, sort of how would you like to see it go? Go.
Yeah, no, you go.
Well, I was going to say, I think, do we agree that Pacers are a good first team? The alternative is the Pistons. Yeah,
I mean, look, this is my heart speaking. I want to see the Pacers in the first round just to put them away.
Me too.
I obviously wouldn't mind the Pistons because I think that'd be an easy win. I kind of like, just as an aside, Pistons Knicks at the moment in the first round. If it was to start today, I don't mind that. I actually kind of like the Pistons. I feel like they've got a big old chip on their shoulder, and Cade's fun to watch. And I also saw Bickerstaff just roast. Did you see this? Just roasting the refs in his post game, and I was G'd up, man, and I'm not even on the team. So but I would like Pacers, and then second round.
It's probably going to be Cavs.
Almost definitely. I actually kind of like us in that, even though they're easily. Let's be frank, they're the better team. They're deeper than us. They're just better than us. I do think that we have experience. That's the only thing we've got going into that. We have experience. They don't.
Yeah.
So I think that we have like a shot at it, and then Celtics are going to be That's a tough conference final.
That's who you want, though.
It's like what you want. You'd earn it by then.
Yeah.
It would be kind of different to our playoff run where our conference final was sort of the Nets in the second round.
And then the Hawks.
The Hawks wasn't really a conference final. Do you know what I mean? And then should we make it to the finals, again, this is big ifs. You're probably looking at, I would say, either a Denver or an OKC.
I would even throw the Lakers in there, honestly, dude.
Maybe the Lakers.
I'm worried about them in the playoffs. I think that they, just because the Luka factor, like how much Luka did last year, and then they've got LeBron who knows how to steamroll a team.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know who. I don't want to see Denver in the finals. Just as get that out of the way, I do not want to see that at all. Thunder, like I've said, they haven't been blooded. It would be tough, but we've beat them before, so I wouldn't mind that. Lakers, I don't want to see that because. Oh, man, they'd just be blowing the whistle the whole game, and I just don't want to see it. What about you? Do you have any other comments or thoughts?
I mean, the only thing is, if we are playing the Knicks in the third round, I'd be so happy because I'd bet almost money that one of them's going to be injured, if not more. And so I'd feel really good about that in the third round if that's how it plays out. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't know if I'm as hot on playing OKC. Because I just feel like the coaching could be too much for Doc with that one because they've got too many random people.
They'd beat us on youth and availability almost entirely. Because again, every team deals with an injured player or an almost injured player. Like Luka famously got the Mavs to the finals on one leg. So and Giannis injured his knee and came back. So they don't have that issue. They've got like 12 dudes that they can just run.
Yeah. All right, Tommy, it's time for our final segment here. Our go-to, it's every episode.
Let's go, baby.
Cody Bank. Alrighty, this is Agent Cody Bank. This is our segment where we get 45 seconds to act as an agent for an obscure NBA player, coach, affiliated person. The only thing is, we're trying to get them the bag as well. The only thing is, we don't know who it is, and it's going to be revealed to us by the other person, and we've got to improvise our sales pitch. So, Tommy, you went first with the poem, and you're going to go first here again now.
All right, okay.
All right, so here we go. Tommy, your one today, former Buck, whose season has absolutely gone into the toilet. I want you to be the Agent Cody Bank for our friend, one Coach Budenholzer.
The one that got away in Holzer, they call him. Look, this man got thrown in the deep end. We're talking about scapegoat coaches. Bud is it. I mean, the poor man got thrown into the sun, and now he has been the one, people talking about Booker, this and that. He has a system. He just needs players to buy into it. And if I can think of two players who don't want to buy into a system, I can think of KD, and I can think of Booker, and I can also think of Beal as a sixth man who's not buying into that system. The man's been hard done by. He deserves a young team who can really, they're looking for something new. I'm thinking Wizards. I'm thinking actually Charlotte Hornets would be great for him. I think that he could really do something. He's done it with the Hawks before, years ago. He can do it again. Bud's a good coach, just not in the playoffs, but they wouldn't get to the playoffs anyway, so it doesn't matter. He got done dirty, man. He got done dirty.
It's rough for him, man. I feel like... but you're exactly right. He has to go to a smaller team, for sure.
They started good too. That's the worst part. And everyone thought this was it. But, he just needs... You have to think about it as well, Giannis was just coming into his peak when he sort of came in. And he doesn't deal with egos. He doesn't have that Phil Jackson, Doc Rivers has this as well. He doesn't have that ability to deal with eccentric players. So, yeah, the Suns was never really going to work. Just as a quick aside while we're on the Suns.
Yeah.
Just going back to our shots fired really quickly. Empty calories, Devin Booker. I'm sorry, man. Rip your career and ever having another deep playoff run in that team. They're in... teams I don't want to be a fan of. 76ers, Mavs, Suns. Because you have a hope.
That take was so hot. A fire just exploded. Come
on, he's not going anywhere. No. You had a hope for the Suns, and they are just absolute cheeks at the moment.
The Phoenix Duns.
They're going to move KD in the off season. Bill's contract will expire in 2030 or whatever it is. What are they going to do? What's Booker doing?
Booking a one-way ticket out of there, mate. That's what I'll say.
Straight to Cancun. All right, so I have got an agent job for you here.
Yep.
This man still has 2 years left on his contract. Unfortunately, he just signed it, and he signed it with so much optimism. He'll be an unrestricted free agent in 27-28, so you've got to start thinking now early. Mm-hmm. And the reason you've got to start thinking about it is because he'll be 37 by then.
Mm-hmm.
There's still potential for him. He's a good on the corner, shoot some threes. This man plays for the Mavs. He's in hell at the moment, and that man is Klay Thompson. I need you to get that man the bag because he thought he was going to a contending team, and he's now going for not much, really. What's this man going to do in a couple of years, Jez? And sell it to me, please.
Alrighty. Klay Thompson, Klay Thomp's off, more like it at the moment.
Okay.
But if I'm selling Klay Thompson, do you remember 2016? That's my starting pitch.
Okay.
That's the same guy.
This is plus 10 years.
Yeah, this is almost 10 years. I think with Klay, what you're looking for here is veteran leadership. What you're looking for here is one of the most liked people in the NBA, I'd say. And what you've got here is someone who you can definitely pitch as a 3-and-D veteran presence. Does his money make sense? It does. It does if your team has no other good players. Good. Maybe he's for the Charlotte Hornets as well. A bit of a swan song, a bit of star power in a very minor sense. Klay Thompson, let him spray and pray for the Charlotte Hornets with Coach Bud under their system.
Well, we've made a great case for the Hornets in their next their next season. I also just love he's a 3-and-D presence.
Yeah.
He doesn't do 3-and-D. He's a 3-and-D presence.
Locker room presence at the 3-and-D level.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really think he would be great, actually, on a young team like that because he only needs to splash a couple of threes a game and, again, bring a bit of cohesiveness. So I don't mind that take.
Last thing I wanted to leave us with before we just exit here quickly, it's a very quick one. We were very early on this, but we said that the Luka trade would be huge for Bronny. He actually is getting minutes, so we were 100% right on that one. And
you know what? I don't want to do an impromptu sort of tinfoil hat arrangement here, but I wonder if LeBron orchestrated this because he knows that Luka is a kind of he's a general. He gets people involved, great at passing, great at, getting people scoring at a high clip. He wanted Bronny to get minutes, get some easy dunks, easy layups. So he got the man. He couldn't get Joker, but he got Luka. So he got the man to do it. And Bronny...
Tinfoil hats on.
I'm putting it on. I'll be honest with you.
Alrighty, tell me, did you have anything else you wanted to leave us with?
Nothing but a fin.
Finn.